Welcome back for another update. Excuse the wind. It's quite a bit windy out there at the moment. Not a good thing given that we've got bushfires as well. Anyway, I thought I'd give you another update, and using another phone now to be able to have a clearer picture, which is good. So what have I done today? I've obviously put the doors in. I've put the dash in there, well, not the dash, but where the hand throttle is. And while I had that there, and the other thing I did as well is I've put in the throttle accelerator. I've put in all the connections to it. Now what I had to do here is I had a standard this is a Series 3, and this was initially a petrol series, not a diesel. And so I had some components from a Series 3 diesel which weren't going to really fit. And the main one was the bracket here that holds the end of the cable for the pump, for the accelerator. So what I had to do was make my own bracket here, this one here. Basically just like an S-shaped bracket, and it came out really well. Quite happy with it. So all of that's connected as well, the hand throttle. Now in terms of the bulkhead, when I put the doors in, I took the opportunity to try to true out the bulkhead. So basically I had a cable from here to the bumper, to the front there, and I effectively try to push it this way forward so that it actually was as straight as possible. And you can see here from the door gap there, even though the doors aren't exactly straight, that it's actually quite good. Now I did pull these apart. Basically you just undo the lock washer there, the nut. There's a spring inside and a little spherical bush which gives you that kind of flexibility there. But there's a lot of play. I mean, particularly the bottom one here. There's a lot of play there, and it's causing this door not to kind of sit true. So if I look at that, you can see there's a bit of play. Now if I go to the other side, this one's sitting beautifully true, and there's no movement at all. It's actually how it's supposed to be. So obviously the driver's door always gets used, not necessarily the passenger one, but this one's actually sitting pretty nice, pretty true and straight. So a little bit of cosmetic here. You can also see here how the door bows out on there. Now I suspect that the door is actually slightly warped because the front here is actually sitting quite well. So I'm going to have to do something about that later on. Right, so once because I had everything loose here, I had these 3 nuts and bolts loose, I had the main bulkhead bolt and nut loose, I had the seal all loose, and so pretty much, and I had these 6 bolts here loose and the other side as well. And so that allowed me to actually move this by hand, so that's how I was able to get it to where I wanted. I don't know if that's the way to do it. I've never done this before, so it's kind of something that I try to apply a bit of logic, and well, seemed to work for me now. Right, so continuing on from here, I'm going to have to deal with the other bits of electronics. Ballast here I need to put somewhere. I'll need to put this somewhere. Probably use these bolts here or something similar to that. And yeah, so it actually was, well, I've spent quite a few hours, but it actually wasn't too difficult. One thing I would say is that not having the windscreen in place actually made life so much easier, because for these bolts here I actually had to reach over the back in order to hold it with a 7/16 spanner, for example, to get to these nuts and bolts. So I'm going to be leaving the windscreen off right until I've got everything done, including the electrics, just to make sure that I don't, you know, because I mean you can fold it, but then that's in the way. If you leave it up, it's in the way. So a little tip there I recommend. And I think that's about it really. Must admit I did sit inside and you know, imagine that this thing was actually running. I'm still kind of a little bit, I suppose, gobsmacked that I've actually managed to do so much so quickly, so really happy with that. I'll have to do the floors at some later stage, probably again last minute thing. But my aim was again to start putting this thing back together so I can clear up the garages. We're probably going to be moving sometime this year, and so I need to clean this up and really get rid of all the stuff that I don't need. I've got a whole pile of goodies here. Some of this stuff I've got for sale, other stuff I'll probably just put in storage. But yeah, I've got the other spare doors. I've got another spare window, spare bonnet, etc., etc. So I need to do a lot of cleaning out. And whatever I keep, I'm probably going to use the back of the tub here as storage. Again, just to make everything nice and neat. So that's an update. Oh, the other thing you probably noticed in a video is this thing here, the sedimenter. Now, again, because this wasn't a diesel, there was no real way for me to bolt it. I did notice on a Series 3 that they did have some kind of a bracket that was already welded to the chassis. I decided not to go with that, and I just made up another couple of brackets to hold that in place. So that's actually not a bad spot. It also is about the same level as the chassis and the bottom end there, so hopefully it won't catch on anything. Okay, so I'll keep these small updates coming, just so you've got an idea where things are at. If you've got anything in particular that you want to see or you want to ask me about, by all means do so. Again, I'm not doing a detailed vid, so anything that you want me to show you or explain how I've done it at the very least, not that I'm saying that the way I do it is correct, but what works for me, I'm happy to post on the comments. Okay, I'll leave the video at that, and until next time, thanks for watching.